The electromagnetic spectrum. The electromagnetic spectrum is a large family of waves, which includes visible light. The other members of this family include radio waves, microwaves, infrared waves, ultraviolet rays, X-rays, and gamma rays. Although at first glance, these waves seem to have very little in common, they do share many properties. For example, they all travel at the speed of light through a vacuum. This speed is about 300,000 kilometers per second. They are all transverse waves. They can all be reflected. They can all be refracted. And they can all be diffracted. There is a diagram in your booklet showing all the members of the electromagnetic spectrum in order. Those waves with the shortest wavelength and the highest frequency come first, and those with the longest wavelength and the lowest frequency come last. It is important that you memorize the order of the different groups of the waves within the electromagnetic spectrum. Some of the properties of the waves in the spectrum change as the wavelength and the frequency change. Let's have a look at each of these groups and see what the properties are of these waves. The first group are the gamma rays. These are very penetrating waves with very short wavelengths. They are emitted by some radioactive materials, and exposure to these rays can cause damage to living cells, perhaps resulting in cancer. But used correctly, gamma rays can actually be used to kill harmful bacteria, and also used in radiotherapy to treat certain types of cancer. The second group are the X-rays. They are also short wavelength and also very penetrating. They are used in medicine to look for broken bones or damaged bones inside the body. Overexposure to X-rays can also cause cancer. Next come the ultraviolet rays. These are emitted by the sun. They cause our skin to tan, but overexposure can lead to skin cancer. Ultraviolet rays are used to make security markings visible. They are also used in fluorescent tubes to cause special coatings inside the tubes to emit visible light. In the middle of the spectrum is visible light. We use this to see and to carry messages down optical fibers, for example. Visible light is emitted by the sun and by fires and by lamps. Next to visible light in the electromagnetic spectrum are the infrared waves. These waves are emitted by all warm objects. We can use infrared waves to see in the dark. For example, heat-seeking cameras are used to search for people perhaps trapped in collapsed buildings. We also use infrared waves when we use remote controls to adjust the settings on our TV sets or stereo systems. The infrared waves carry the instructions from the remote to the TV or stereo system. Microwaves are the next group. They are produced by special electrical circuits and have some important uses. They are used to carry messages to and from mobile phones, and they are used to cook food in microwave ovens. Water molecules inside the food absorb the microwaves and become hot. The food therefore cooks throughout, and cooks much more quickly than a conventional oven, which cooks the food just from the outside. Microwaves can cause damage to living cells if they are misused. This is why microwave ovens are designed so that they will not operate unless the door is firmly shut. This is also why scientists are carrying out extensive tests to ensure that the use of mobile phones does not cause damage to nearby cells. Finally, the last group in the spectrum are the radio waves. These have the longest wavelengths and lowest frequencies of any waves in the electromagnetic spectrum. Radio waves are used to communicate over large distances. Shortwave radio waves are used for television transmissions and FM radio. Longer wavelength radio waves are used for the more traditional AM radio. Long wavelength radio waves can be diffracted round hills and mountains. As a result, homes and buildings in these regions are still able to receive signals. OK, let's see how much you can remember. Can you name the members of the electromagnetic spectrum in order? The members of the electromagnetic spectrum in order, starting with those with the shortest wavelength, are gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, visible light, infrared waves, microwaves, and radio waves. Can you name 3 properties that all these waves have in common? All of these waves travel at 300,000 kilometers per second in a vacuum. They can all be reflected, they can all be refracted, they can all be diffracted, and they are all transverse waves. Can you name 3 members of the electromagnetic spectrum that might cause cancer? Gamma rays, X-rays, and ultraviolet rays can all cause cancer. Can you name 2 types of waves that can be used for cooking? Microwaves and infrared waves can be used for cooking.